Well, Disney has announced their much awaited, or much dreaded, depending on your perspective, paid Fast Pass system. And we've got the info that you need to know about this new paid feature for Disney World and Disneyland guests. So stick around. So Disney Parks is introducing 3 new features to their system. We'll begin with the free one. So the first component of this new rollout, set to hit domestic Disney parks this fall, is Disney's Genie feature. This will be integrated into your current My Disney Experience and Parks app. The Disney Genie will allow you to select activities and topics that interest you and your party, and it can make suggestions based upon your preferences. The more intriguing part about it is that it can optimize your suggestions into a touring plan, so to speak. If you're thinking that this sounds a lot like the service provided by touringplans.com, well, you'd be right. The main difference here is that this is integrated into the Disney app, and it also includes dining. They claim that it will show available quick service order pickup times as well as walk-up wait times for nearby restaurants. Now, if you've watched any of our videos, you probably know that I am a huge fan of touringplans.com. So I'm left wondering whether this will make their services obsolete, and I've been thinking about it a lot. And I still think that Touring Plans has a lot to offer that this new Disney Genie does not. The services that we use the most from Touring Plans are the crowd calendars, the dining reservation finder, and the room finder. Disney is not able to replicate these services at this point, so I would say that Touring Plans will remain a staple of our Disney planning. Don't worry, Touring Plans, we are still super fans, and we still highly recommend their services. So the second component is Disney Genie Plus. This is the paid service. If you've visited Disneyland in the past few years, you may have experienced Max Pass, and this service is basically the same. At least that's what they're telling us. You have the day of option to add on this service to your ticket. The cost is $15 per day for Disney World and $20 per day for Disneyland. At Disneyland, this also includes PhotoPass downloads for the day. I think that PhotoPass might be an appealing offer for some Disneyland guests. So the way that this works is you go to the app and select an attraction. It will offer you a return window, just like an old school Fast Pass would have, but you don't need to be physically at the attraction to book it like the old paper Fast Pass system. You select the return window and you go to the attraction at the set time to ride. Once you scan in using a phone or Magic Band, presumably, when we were at Disneyland, we used our phones for this, you can immediately book your next pass. At Disneyland, if the return window was much later, if you were offered a time that was maybe 2 or 3 hours in the future, like for a very popular attraction, we found that they usually let us book a new one about 90 minutes or so into the future so that it didn't really impede us from being able to use the service if we had chosen something that had a longer time until its return window. So I'm not too concerned about if you choose something with a longer return window. I do think they'll allow you to probably book something before that, depending upon the volumes of the crowd levels within the parks. Now remember, we don't know if this is exactly the same as Max Pass at Disneyland, but the representatives for Disney keep making comparisons to the Max Pass system and saying that it will work pretty much the same. I think it's a good guess that it's probably going to operate in the same way. We've experienced Max Pass at Disneyland, and we actually found it to be very efficient. We were often able to get return windows either immediately or just maybe 10 or 20 minutes out into the future. Oftentimes our return window was simply the 5 or 10 minutes that it would take us to walk to the attraction that we wanted to ride. So we were really able to do a lot, and we were able to repeat attractions multiple times because some of them had very quick return windows, and oftentimes, like I said, you'd look at the return window and it's now, or it's in 5 minutes. And so that was a really great system for us, and we really got a lot of value out of it when we did use it at Disneyland. Another big question for me is, will there be an option for annual pass holders? Disneyland did offer a Max Pass option to add on to your annual pass, so I really, really hope they offer this with the new system as well. Okay, so the third component of this new system is the ability to purchase Lightning Lane, which is essentially a fast pass, access to individual attractions. Pricing is going to vary depending upon the date, attraction, and the park. So obviously it's going to be more expensive for heavy attendance days and less for lighter days. And by the way, you know where to look for that? touringplans.com has got your crowd calendar, and that's a good way to predict how heavy the crowds are going to be when you go. This will be offered for attractions that are not included in Disney Genie Plus, and some examples they've given us already are Rise of the Resistance, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Radiator Springs Racers. So guests may purchase up to 2 of these passes per day, and I'm glad that there are some limitations on that because I don't like the idea that someone can go ride Rise of the Resistance 4 times even if they're paying for it. Alright, so what are my thoughts on this brand new system? And I know a lot of people are upset about it. A lot of people have some strong feelings about it. Well, I have mixed thoughts on this new system. I enjoyed Old Fast Pass, but I've also really enjoyed the spontaneity that I've experienced over the past year at Disney World, not having advanced Fast Passes. I like being able to sleep in and have pool time with my kids rather than rushing over to our next Fast Pass. Honestly, that created more anxiety on my vacation and worry about being on time, and I was more relaxed when I didn't have the Fast Passes. On the other hand, this is a paid system and it's going to be cost prohibitive for some and maybe even for us on occasion. I do like the flexibility that this affords to guests, and I'm aware of the reality that most other theme parks actually have had paid systems for many years. Universal has had a paid system for quite a long time. We know because we used it once in 2013 when we had only one day at Universal, so it was really worthwhile for us, but quite a bit more expensive than this even back then. Busch Gardens and SeaWorld also have a system called Quick Queue, and that's a paid service that's also been in place for a long time. We saw that at Busch Gardens all the way back in 2013. Legoland has a reserve and ride system for a fee as well, and most other theme parks across the country do. So in a sense, we've kind of been lucky to avoid this extra cost for as long as we have as Disney guests. I'm not saying we should be grateful, I'm just saying when we look at it from a business perspective, it kind of is an industry standard at this point. So will we pay for Genie Plus or individual passes? Well, because we take longer trips to Disney World as annual pass holders and Disney Vacation Club members, we will likely only get this service for 1 or 2 select days on our trips, just if needed. I can think of a couple of days on our recent 2-week vacation that would have been much more enjoyable with this service. On the other hand, we typically choose to travel at less busy times, so we're hoping we wouldn't need this service. If they offered an add-on for the full annual pass, like for the entire year, we would be very much interested in checking that out. Obviously, it would depend on the price point, but it really could be a good value for us if they offer that. I really hope they do offer that, so I'm really got my fingers crossed for that. We likely will pay for this service when we go to Disneyland because we only go there for a few days every 4 or 5 years. We don't travel there nearly as much as we do Disney World. At Disney World, we spend a couple of weeks there every single year, so we could pick and choose whether we feel it's worth it for this service day by day, depending on the crowd levels. All right, since I'm really into Disney Vacation Club, you might be wondering, what is the impact going to be for Disney Vacation Club members? I think it's going to be minimal. I don't think it's going to be a lot. I wish they were offering some kind of incentive for DVC members, some kind of extra perk, and there's not a whole lot going on here. But maybe in the future they will, and a lot of Disney Vacation Club members are also annual pass holders, so I've really got my fingers crossed for some kind of a flat fee where we could add this onto our annual pass. That would be an ideal situation, I think, for most DVC members. So there you have it. Love it or hate it. Paid Fast Passes will soon be arriving at Disney World and returning to Disneyland. A lot of fans have expressed very strong opinions about this, so be sure to tell us in the comments what you think about the new system. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you willing to pay for a Fast Pass? We would love to hear from you. Remember to check out our other videos on our channel where we have tons of info about how to get the most out of your Disney experience. We also have a lot of great videos about Disney Vacation Club. Thanks so much for joining us today, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates. Have a great day, everybody. Bye!